Good evening and welcome to another episode. We're on episode 18, Thursday.
Yeah.
Still in a lockdown. It's still Thursday. It still feels like any other day.
Well, today felt a lot warmer here in Bombay. We're actually in the middle of summer, so it felt warmer. I did a short 6K run on the treadmill, and I thought I was running more than 6K. Definitely sweating a lot. Very humid. So hopefully you're all staying hydrated, at least with some water or electrolytes, because we're still in the dry.
Yeah, in the dry. Since there's no beer, the only thing we can drink is some electrolyte water in the evening.
Yes.
Especially with all the heat. But yeah, we're pretty excited for our guest this evening. We have someone really special. We've gone on a number of runs with her as well in Bombay, streets of Bombay, back in the day when we could all go out and enjoy the heat and the humidity the way we should, instead of enjoying it indoors. So yeah, I think Monica's going to introduce her.
Yeah, she's a very familiar face to the Mumbai scene. And her name is Shibani. She is a senior producer and anchor with CNBCTV18 and CNBCAWAZ, and has been working as a journalist for the last 11 years. That's a long time as a journalist. I wonder how her journalism is going now during the lockdown. So that's, I think, one of the questions we'd like to address with her. Shibani's journey into fitness started with Taekwondo. She represented Mumbai at state level and also participated in several university level tournaments. As part of her conditioning, she would run 4 to 5 kilometers. But about 8 years ago, she decided to get more involved with running. She ran her first marathon in 2013 and has run several 10Ks, 21Ks, 22 full marathons, and numerous ultra marathons, which I think that's where a lot of people have gotten to know Shibani. She's got some crazy distances.
12-hour runs, stadium runs. So let's get her in. Hey, Shibani.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
Very well. So many times I have seen, so I know this is, you're going to roll the questions towards me, but so many times when I think of Amit and Monica, I see you guys running all these fabulous trails, climbing all the guards around Mumbai. You are locked down. How are you coping up with this?
Oh wow! I love how the journalism, the innate skill has come out in the role. And now Shivani's. Yes, why don't we try that? Yeah, let's try that today. So we're the guests on the show. It's been hard. I mean, the first week was a little hard because we had no outlet at all. But I managed to get a treadmill just in time, so we're a little fortunate. We're able to run, get in our weekly mileage. But yeah, we missed Kalavantin and Ikshalgarh and all the beautiful peaks that we usually go to over the weekends.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been. I think for me initially I was able to adapt and it wasn't so bad for me. But I think the last few weeks it's sort of especially the last week was a little bit hard, and just staying indoors and not having that opportunity.
Yeah. What about you? How's it been for you?
So for me, I think it was the opposite. When it all began, I was like, oh my God, what to do now? I won't be able to run. I won't be able to go out. I won't be able to swim. And, this is the month where you actually go out and, you do those 2 kilometers and 3 kilometer odd swims because you want to stay in water as much as possible. So initially it was like a bit of a challenge. But then I adapted pretty quickly, I must say. I took on the stairs and, I have been doing stair workouts thrice a week. And then whatever, agility, footwork, training, etc. is possible at home. So these small ways to get the heart pumping in the morning. And plus, of course, I do a bit of strength. I have a couple of equipments that have been rusting somewhere in some corner of the house. So I had to dig those out, clean those equipments, oil some of them, some of them had rust on them. So,
Yeah.
do all of that and then start finally using those equipment. So it has been quite a journey from like, week 1 to the current week that we are in. I don't know, week XYZ. I've lost the count.
Yeah, that's just the thing. That's what we've been saying as well. We don't know what day of the week it is anymore.
Yeah.
We sort of wake up and every day just feels like the same day. But no, it's good. It's nice. I know, like I used to see a lot of posts by you about, I think it's the Shivaji Park, the swimming pool opposite Shivaji Park where you used to go. Is that it?
That's right.
So
That's right.
I know you enjoy swimming. So yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's tough.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah.
It's shut.
And what about work? Are you still going into work? Do you have like a priority pass, or how's that set up?
So the pass is actually our card, the office card that we have, which says press on it,
Yeah.
along with the channel names, etc. I have been going to work, but for the last 15 odd days, or even more, I think I haven't gone to work. So we work in batches typically. So batch A goes to work, and then batch B sits at home. Then again, batch A has to go to work. So that whoever, if there is a case in office, then at least the next batch can come in fresh into the organization. So it's a process that we are doing and the process that we are following. I went to work initially, but now I'm not. Pretty much everything is happening from home, from editing and from doing my anchorings to conducting interviews over Skype and Zoom and Microsoft Teams, etc. So pretty much everything is happening at home. But again, it's really tough. The whole coordination, the mails have to be extremely meticulously drafted, instructing exactly what to do. FaceTime has become the thing. Audio interview editing happening from home. So it's difficult. It's a new thing. It's a new challenge for us each day. But yeah, we are coping up with that slowly and steadily.
Yeah, I mean, I've been amazed at how companies have sort of adapted to this. Even for us, we're working from home. It's not the same. It's obviously very different because of coordination. In the office, it's easy to sit and chat with someone and get a response immediately. But here, you send an email, you wait for them to read it, respond. So yeah, it's challenging, but I guess that's where the ultra running mental fortitude comes into play, and you have to be a little,
Think
I don't
outside
know,
the box.
think outside the
Yes.
box, keep staying mentally strong. But yeah, coming to that, what made you switch, or what got you move from taekwondo into running, and then pick up the distance and become the 12-hour, 24-hour runner that we know you as?
Sure. So, when I was in college when used to practice taekwondo, and all the training used to happen in the evening. So I had a batch starting at 4, and we used to train till about 7:30 every day, every single day. And Sundays used to be off time for us. But the conditioning practice, all the endurance building exercises, all the strength training exercises used to happen in the morning, and my college would start at like 7:30. So it wasn't physically possible for me to attend any of these classes that would happen from 7 to 9 every morning.
Yeah.
So as an easy way out, I stay pretty close to places like Shivaji Park and Wali Pace. So the easiest thing for me was to build some endurance, was to just go out of the house, take like a couple of rounds of Shivaji Park and come back. And this used to happen at really early hours in the morning before my college. So I would start at about, let's say, 5:30 or something in the morning, go to Shivaji Park. Those were the days when Mumbai was really safe. Do that alone. And I used to do that and come back home and go to college. But like as soon as work began and I started working, now taekwondo class had like a set time, which was 4 to 7, which I couldn't attend considering I am in a profession that doesn't allow that. So like there was no chance that I could attend a taekwondo class on a daily basis to at least maintain like a basic level of fitness. I'm not even speaking about competition, but just to maintain that basic level of fitness, it was not even possible to attend it even twice or thrice a week. So I thought, what is easy? Like, what is something that I would do which I can, practice even when I'm traveling? So running came as the easiest choice for me. So I started running again with like a few kilometers every morning or evening. I used to run at 9:30 in the night. I used to run at 12 in the afternoon sometimes when I had to work for like 16, 17 hours. So come back home, grab some sleep, wake up, go for a run at 11:30, 12, come back, eat my lunch, and then proceed to work again. So running was easy and doable. That's how I started running. And then one fine day, I met this old man at Shivaji Park, and he's like, "Hey, listen, everyone around Shivaji Park who runs," and I used to see Sayuri running quite a bit at Shivaji Park in all her colorful clothes, and I would be like, one day I want to run like this girl. And then this like fellow, he told me that, oh, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you register for Mumbai Marathon? So I said, okay, let me go and check. And I went home and I checked. So all the registrations for 21K were full. As you know, they get full pretty soon. I saw, damn, okay, like, there is no registration available for 21K. So let me just try and register for 42K. Let's see how difficult can it be to run a 42K. I have been training for like three hours, sometimes both 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening when I used to practice taekwondo. So it might not be so tough. And I registered. And the longest run that I did before doing my first full marathon, which was Mumbai Marathon 2013, was a 17-kilometer run. And I was in between jobs. I was just about to join TV18. So I was in between jobs. So that whole week for 10 days I practiced. That was my training. And I did a full marathon on that training. And I finished it.
Wow. And had you ever run a half before this, or you
not at all? 17K was my longest run of my life before I did a 42.
Wow.
And looking back, would you have done things differently had you known that the 42 distance is not as easy as 21K? Would you do things differently?
So, interestingly, it struck me what I have done, not at the finish line, okay? Like after I crossed that finish line, I was like, okay, fine, I finished, I'm alive. It's fine. Let me just go and grab some pizza or eat something. It wasn't then. It was, in December that year when Star Sports contacted me and they are like, listen, you did your first full marathon and you did it sub 5. That's fabulous. So I'm like, acha, is it a big deal? So they are like, yeah, it's a big deal. And what was it? How did you practice and how did you train? And we want to cover your story. That is when I realized that, finishing a marathon is a big deal in itself. Till then, I was like, okay, whatever. Finished a marathon, let me just go on to a 50K or let me just go on to a 100K. It didn't hit me till, I did this in Jan. It hit me in December 2013. Wow. Because, I just finished it. I didn't care much about finishing it.
Yeah.
Wow. And then what made you want to do more than just 42K? Now you've done so many longer distances that 42K now seems like easy peasy to you.
Just the thrill about what your body can achieve. Like, I never thought that I could do a 42K ever in my life. And, just the fact that if you push, what can your body achieve by running an XYZ distance? I think that is what keeps me going. It's the fact that, you can push yourself, train and push yourself. I wouldn't say just wake up and go and run like I did my first marathon, but train and push yourself to that distance is something that is like the most endearing aspect about running. And I think about any sport, like, absolutely any sport that is there, even even for example CrossFit, you would never imagine that you could lift so much. It's only when you do it day by day, when you see yourself improve, it's only when you believe that you can achieve it.
Yeah, but I think, listening to your story now, I think the writing was always on the wall. You said you used to run in the afternoon heat. You said you would train twice a day. You would run at midnight after work, after late hours. So I think, these are very common qualities that ultra runners have: the thirst for the pain cave, the thirst in search for something that's just pushing us towards the unknown, and until you get that satisfaction of a 4-hour run, you're just not satisfied. You don't feel like eating food. Is have you seen these qualities sort of emerge as you moved away from a 42 and more towards 12-hour runs? And is that something that's kept you there? Because I know you do a lot of 12-hour runs. You've done a couple of 100Ks as well. What's drawing you towards these longer distances?
I mean, I personally used to think like last year. In fact, I have done a lot of 21Ks. 21K was never my favorite distance because it just starts and gets over too soon, and it takes my body at least an 8 to 10 kilometers to warm up properly.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you could warm up at your own ease, warm up at your own pace, and then go on and do a 20K or 30K or 40K. I really liked, and then I really liked to get into the rhythm of it. Like I mentioned in while speaking to a friend of mine recently, that I probably chalk out my day. I chalk out, let's say if I'm running on Sunday, then I chalk out how my day will progress on Monday. If I have an important discussion the next day, then I probably form questions, or at least the introduction and the punchlines and the closing during my run. I run without music. I try to run alone. You will not find me running with a lot of people or in groups, etc. I would do my run by myself. So I think things when I am on the run. So the rhythm of it really keeps me going. I think I really like to get into that trance, to get into that rhythm when I'm doing a long run.
I have a question, Shivani. With ultra running, we know that the weekly mileage is pretty high, right? And with your kind of a work schedule where you have odd hours, you can get pulled in at any time depending on what the scenario is with interviews and so on and so forth. Do you ever feel burnt out during training, and how do you sort of deal with it?
I do actually. I really do. And earlier I used to be really harsh on myself. Like my mother would always see me working 12 hours on a couple of occasions, and then she next day morning I would just go in and do that 30K, 35K, 40K. And she would tell me that, listen, you're killing yourself. And I wouldn't take her seriously because most how it is, most of people around you react to you as if you are insane, which is true. But I wouldn't take that seriously. But over the last 1 year has been like a great learning. Like I was really killing myself when I was working. I was killing myself. In fact, one of my family members was hospitalized while I was training for a 24-hour run. And it was a tough time. I was unwell. I was simply pushing myself to no outcome, and I would see my pace dropping, my strength dropping, me losing like a 3 to 4 kilos in the span of 10 days, and I could see that happening in front of my eyes, and I would still try to push myself through that run, through that workout the next day morning. So the thumb rule that I'm following from the last 1 year is, if not to kill yourself. If you have too much work, then just rest it out. Wake up the day after you're supposed to do that training and probably give in your 100%. Then you will run better, you will feel better after the run, and you will not be killing yourself. So I typically have been following that, and it has worked wonders over the past 1 year for me.
I think that's some great advice, because I think a lot of us, especially those who, we work and we have some fixed schedules sometimes where we work a longer hours, that, we just want to make sure that we get our training in, and sometimes we lose track of what matters. Are we taking care of ourselves? Are we eating properly? Are we resting, which is the main part where we fall short.
Yeah, and I think we also don't recognize the importance of rest. Like me personally, I've gone through this as well. If I have a 10K plan tomorrow and I wake up really tired, I'm focusing all my energy on telling myself, oh, you have a 10K in your training plan, you need to go and run. Even if you're feeling like crap, try and jog, try and walk, run, do it to just get the mileage in. And sometimes that's so detrimental because you end up having a bad run, and then you're in a bad mental space altogether, and it sort of destroys the rest of the day. So, and I think that's something we all learn just with time and experience. Sometimes it helps to take a step back, run 10K less in the week, but feel mentally stronger and healthier. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you mentioned that you've made a lot of changes during this last year because you were feeling burned out. What plans do you have for the coming years? Are you going to get back into ultra running, or are you going to focus more on shorter distances?
I am really enjoying the 21Ks recently. I've really started enjoying the 21K distance. I think I'm going to focus on, improving the 42K time over the next couple of months. I can't say probably a year, probably next 1 year or so. That's what I'm going to do, and then slowly and steadily I'm going to build up and get to like a longer distance. I don't know, I don't mind actually doing I take most of these decisions on impulse, that some, like today I might just say that okay, I want to stick to shorter distances, but I see like an enticing run happening somewhere in the woods, or like a beautiful location. I might just register for that and end up running that event. So it's just on impulse. Like I think most of our ultra marathon decisions are made like that, looking at the surroundings, looking at the pictures, looking at the support, etc. So I might just make that last minute change or decision next year probably. I don't know, I'm not sure yet, but I want to
what to do. Whenever we sign up for an ultra, we're going to send you the pictures of the course and a registration link. And then you'll probably text back in 5 minutes saying, okay,
sure.
Are we flying there? Are we catching a train? Let's plan. Yeah, but no, you should join us in a couple of trail runs. Once things open up, we're always there.
Yes, I think trails are the safest place now.
Oh yeah.
There's nobody around.
There's no one around. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Going back to when you were running the ultra marathons, what were the toughest challenges that you had to face while running those long distances while you were running them?
So I don't know, this is my stomach really tends to react typically when I run extremely long distances. That is one. Second challenge is sleep. Most of the runs run into the night, and that 3 to 5 which is your sound sleep wala time, is the toughest to run. Like it requires crazy amount of motivation to keep yourself moving, and then you will see some bugger going off to sleep somewhere at some point, and then you're like, damn, I should have gone to sleep like a kilometer before, or somewhere to catch that 30-minute snooze or whatever. You feel like that. But then sometimes like for races which are like slightly shorter, like a 12-hour run or a 100K, it becomes difficult. For a 36-hour run kind of a thing, at least taking that 15 to 20-minute nap is feasible. But then you have to really control that urge to go to sleep. That is another thing. And then nutrition, like you have to really train your body to eat the kind of food that you will get at the venue. So like idlis and dahi chawal or something like that, or whatever you're carrying, gels that you're carrying. That's probably the reason why your stomach reacts during the run. If you're not used to consuming so many gels, which I'm not, like I am not used to consuming so many gels. Tops is I have 1 or 2 during a full marathon. So that's my count. So those are the key challenges, I think, when it comes to running. Otherwise, it's simply one foot ahead of the other.
Yeah. So coming back to the topic for today, which is training during a lockdown. how have you been managing? Do you have something structured? Like, would you do core one day and strength another day and stairs a third day? Or, what is something that people can sort of follow during this
So
time?
what I typically try to do is that I have been told by a lot of my friends who are practicing physiotherapy that not to take stairs every day. So I started with like a 70 floors. So I stay in a building which is seven stories. So I started with 7 story 10 times. Then I slowly increased it to 100 floors. Slowly increased it to a 140. Then tried to reduce my time in whatever I was doing. So let's say when I started off, I would take like a 70-75 minutes for a 140 floors. Currently I can do like a 147 floors in 1 hour's time. So I tried to increase that, and I could see my caloric expenditure also going down over time when I started doing stairs. Then as soon as I started acquiring some bit of confidence in doing more amount of stairs, I increased the distance to, let's say, increase the stair count or floor count to, let's say, 210, and then 280, and then 300 has been by far my maximum climb up and climb down so far. So I practice stair climbing thrice a week. I do other workouts like your mountain climbers, high knees, fast-paced Surya Namaskars, all the stretching out exercises, mobility work. I do a lot of, footwork training, side to sides, toe taps, etc. On the rest of the 3 days, and I give myself a 1 day rest day. So when I'm doing a footwork training, or like these heart pumping other exercises like your high knees, or apart from Surya Namaskar, apart from the yoga workout, I try to include some bit of strength training with whatever equipment I have at home. So I typically do like a CrossFit exercise or routine at home in terms of reps. So let's say a 30-second on uh, of like a high
Yeah.
knees, then probably a ground to overhead, or probably a glute bridge hip thrust, or probably a 1 minute plank or whatever, and then reps of it, like a 4 to 5 reps of each set that I'm doing. So I try to do that on a regular basis. That lasts me like about 45 minutes, and then a one hour of stair workout on the alternate days. So that's how my routine has been since the lockdown.
140 stories.
300, 300,
Is
right?
it 300 stories?
Yeah, I did.
Jeez.
She doesn't always do ultra marathons around the
Yeah, this
track,
makes me
but
feel
she
like I'm doing nothing.
Yes,
This is
but
crazy.
I noticed that the more stories that you do, like, your recovery, like in terms of breath, is much faster when you're running 30, 35, or 40K. But stair climbing does, as per, a lot of people say that, it has a greater amount of cardiovascular impact. So you just have to take it extremely slowly when you're doing it. So when people say that, oh, I'm going to try out a 210 floors, I'm like, just take it easy, just take it slow, build the base and then take it forward. Don't
Yeah.
just wake up and do a 210 floors at one go in the beginning.
Did you ever do this when you were running, like prior to the lockdown? It's
Yes.
just, yeah.
Yes. So when I did Khardungla challenge in 2014, now that kind of altitude can't be emulated, in a sea level area like Mumbai.
Yeah.
So to increase my lung capacity, I had taken on to a lot of swimming. So instead of, let's say, a 6 to 8 strokes per breath, I would try to increase it to like a 12 strokes per breath. And then I had taken on stairs on a regular basis. So then I would do like 7 stories 10 times, when every alternate day, after, let's say, a shorter run. Let's say if I'm doing a 13-14K, I would come back and do like a stair workout, and then go about with the rest of the day. So I had done that in 2014. Then frequently, on and off, when I don't get time to go out for a run, if I have like a call to attend, I do take on stairs, but not like to the extent of a 300 floor
Yeah.
workout. But like let's say 100 floors kind of a thing, which can be done in about 45 minutes for me.
That's just crazy. I know. I think we tried doing it once, and then it was really hot and claustrophobic. That
Yes.
yeah, it's tough. It's mentally tough because you're not getting also enough oxygen, especially in Mumbai because the weather is just so hot and sticky. I just found it very difficult to breathe in the airway, even though the windows were open. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
But
there's
you
no.
know, you guys
Yeah.
are so used to running on trails, and you know, treadmill is not really like the best alternative according to me for someone like you guys. How do you motivate yourself to, you know, like wake up from that bed and hit that treadmill on a regular basis?
I don't know. I mean, I've been able to do it. I would say last couple of weeks, I've been doing about 70K a week. So I'm getting in decent mileage. I switch it up a lot. There's easy runs on the treadmill. There's tempos. This Saturday is a hill workout. So the treadmill has a 15% incline. So I can get in a decent amount of incline as well.
Yeah.
And then because I'm at home, after the hard runs, I'll end up doing a strength session. So when you put both together, it's like an hour or an hour and a half on the treadmill, and then 30 minutes or 45 minutes of strength work. Everything put together, it satisfies you like a trail run. You get that satisfaction. You're like
Yeah.
completely run. You get a recovery drink, or you get a smoothie or something. So that's. I think many times just running on the treadmill, I'm just running, waiting for my breakfast or waiting to get the recovery drink. That's what I'm running for. Because otherwise, it's tough. It's tough to run on a belt. It's tough to run on the same belt every single day.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
look out the window and keep moving. It's hard, but
Yeah.
it's better than not doing anything. So.
Yes. Absolutely.
And another thing, what I've noticed is, it gives you an opportunity to also build mental strength. It lets you get a little stronger. You have to tell yourself to keep going. It's another 20 minutes on the same belt, another 30 minutes. That mental strength, I'm hoping at some point, whenever we get to go out, will help me in a race.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself while doing the stairs.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I'm running a lot shorter distances just because now that we're home, I have a little bit more of housework to do. So my runs are no longer than an hour, and they're just slow runs. I'm not really focusing on any particular training, or I guess I'm just running for the fun of running. I think I was a little bit burned out before the lockdown ended. Or the lockdown started, to me right now, I'm trying to just enjoy running, and I don't have any real goal. I just want to run during the day because I know that it wakes me up, it makes me feel good, and yeah. So
there's no race that one can really train for right now anyway. So it's just maintaining fitness. Monica's slowly getting back to it after a break, and I'm just trying to maintain fitness. I think that's one thing I spoke with my coach about, that there's no race coming up. So what do we do? And we decided.
What we train for?
Yeah, we decided to train for a 5K and a 10K time trial. Just for the fun of it. So I'm finishing, I think, week 5 of pace building, and then next week we'll start getting in some faster workouts, and maybe July first week I'll try a 5K time trial. So, because otherwise, when are you going to do it?
How much are you targeting in that, in terms of time?
I don't know. It's too soon. It's too early. It's too early. It's too early. But it's just something different to train for.
How are you keeping motivated? What makes you want to go out and hit 300 stairs?
So I try to break the workout into segments. Like, what I do is, let's say I have done 70, 10 floors. So, let's say I've done 7 floors. So I try to break it into a set. Then I would probably do like a jump workout on the next floor that I'm taking. Then probably the next set I would do, like, just to break the monotony of it, I would do like a duck walk. Then I have like a loop band, so I would just do like a rowing after like another set of 7 floors. So I just try to break it in towards like the end of the workout, so that again, because typically in the start you are all pumped up and you're all excited about doing the stair workout, but towards the end it becomes like a bit of a drag when you have to go around the same loop again and again. So I try to break it into something, and then that's how I keep myself motivated. So I keep that element of breaking it into something as something to look forward to, like make it like a challenge. Or probably I will just do like a kicking practice on the floor and not climb stairs at all. So I just try to break that in that fashion.
You must have really patient neighbors.
Yeah.
Are they all are they athletes themselves? Do they run and
No,
bike?
not at all. No,
No?
not at all. But I could see, because of me, like a couple of people. So we have like a huge colony.
Yeah.
So I could see like a couple of people, going for walks and stuff. Then, initially I tried to run around my building. So there used to be like this old auntie who would stand on the window and give me thumbs up every morning. But that running on around the building around for 100 meters is just not happening for me. It's just not possible. I need it feels claustrophobic to do that, so I
See,
don't do that. I find stair much better.
yeah, that makes me remember when before I got the treadmill and after the lockdown started, I was running indoors. I ran maybe two or three 5Ks in the living room, which is a 15-meter loop. I find it more difficult to run that 15-meter loop than to run on the belt. It's easier to run on the.
Also, it changes your gait. It changes
Terrible.
your running gait.
Messes it up,
Yeah.
completely.
Your running gait takes a huge hit when you're running indoors. I wonder how are people doing that 50K or 40K inside their homes. Your running gait is going to change if you're doing that kind of distance inside like a 10 meter area or a 20-meter area. So I haven't even attempted it.
I know someone in Malaysia who a couple of weeks ago ran for 35 and a half hours in his living room. Yim, yeah, some 256 kilometers. It's just crazy. It's beyond my.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just cannot do it.
I think that goes beyond mental toughness. I mean, it's stupid. Why would you do that? Because you're gonna get injured.
Yeah, and for me, what's the need? Like, the thing is that no races are going to happen.
Yeah.
Focus on something that will get your heart pumping. Burpees. Do 100 burpees if you want to, do it for a longer time, or 150 burpees. It will get your heart pumping. It will, make you stronger. There are no races that are going to happen, so there is no point running so much, indoors.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, the heart and the lungs really don't know the difference. It's just the legs that may not get the workout. The heart and the lungs, if you're doing burpees or you're doing a HIIT session, they're happy. But yeah, for the legs, there's always strength work at home. Yeah.
And what do you think you'll be doing after the lockdown ends? Are you going to keep? Oh, you said you were going to focus a little bit on the full marathon. Do you have any? I know you like swimming a lot. So do you plan on doing any triathlon or any?
No,
event?
I still struggle with cycle, Monica. I am terrible with cycling, so I really need to build on that. Triathlons, I don't see a possibility of triathlons happening so soon, because most of the Ironmans are a really expensive affair. And for that kind of investment, you need to train that much. And with most of the parts of the world undergoing a lockdown, I don't think training is happening. And if training is not happening, also the event and possibility of such a gathering, all to get so many athletes coming together, I don't see a possibility of triathlon happening so soon. Probably some of the smaller runs and trails and stuff could begin with lesser number of people, but social distancing would be like still the norm even after the lockdown opens up. I don't know what will be my next race. But as I mentioned earlier, I want to stick to shorter distances. I want to not participate in any event that is with so many people, because of course it's not about me. I stay with family, so of course their health is also my priority. So I have to consider that. So I wouldn't want to go to a race with a lot of people around me, use the public toilets over there, and grab that energy drink and water from people whom you're not sure of how hygienic they are in terms of hand washing or sanitizing themselves. So I really don't want to do that.
What do you think is the future of events? I mean, it just got me thinking because of what you said, you don't want to get out in the public. And I'm assuming there's a lot of people who feel that, irrespective of the lockdown, even if it opens up in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, are people going to be comfortable going to a race which has maybe 5,000, 10,000 runners a month from now or 2 months from now? What do you think is the future of races? Will races be sort of on a low key for a year, or will they be limited to, I don't know, 100 participants? Or what do you think is going to happen?
So, remember when we started running, like in 2013, there were hardly any races that used to happen. And there used to be a clear off season from the month of March, like typically mid-March to about July. But currently, there is no concept of off season over the past couple of years. The races have increased. Like on weekends, there are 3, 4 races happening across the country, and all big races happening together on some weekends. So I think that will definitely stop in the days to come, because there won't be so many participants who would be open. And let me tell you, most of these races that were happening in different cities had fair bit of new runners coming in, doing that 5K distance and 3K distance, and some more optimistic ones opting for like a 10K distance, and all of these were new runners. So I don't think new runners will be open to putting themselves in that kind of crowd. So of course the crowd is going to go much lower in the coming days in races. The quantity of races is definitely going to go down, and then probably you will see more people doing selected amount of runs in a particular year, as compared to going out there and doing a race weekend after weekend after weekend. So I think these three things are definitely what I foresee happening in the next 1 year for sure.
Yeah, it may just be a blessing in disguise as well, because there's, like you said, there's so many races on a weekend. There's maybe 4 or 5 different options, and it's not necessary that every race is well managed, well put up there. We know there's a lot of small time race directors, small races that have sort of come about, and they're not necessarily well organized. They're not paid. So maybe they may not get sponsors. They may not have the funds to put the race.
Again, sponsor money is a big concern, because most of the manufacturing units are shut. Migrants are returning to their villages. So the big sponsors who really would pump in money into these races, so sponsorship money is going to dry out for sure. That is one thing. If you see, Indian races were subsidized to a great extent as per the Indian, as per how much we could afford. So like if you sign up for any race abroad, even if it's like a 21K or 10K, the minimum fee would at least be somewhere around a 30 euros or a 50 euros or a $75 or something like that. And with us, easily. And with us in India, although most of the runners complain about how steep Mumbai Marathon is, it isn't really. Like I have paid like a 10,000, 11,000 rupees per registration for running a full marathon in races abroad. So, the fee that you get out of these people participating is very less. Most of these guys pump in money from sponsors, and sponsorship money is definitely drying out this year, because marketing spends, people are trying to save money and probably going to digital medium to, let's say, reach out to their consumer rather than, investing in events, because they know that social distancing will be followed in the coming days. So definitely for events, the marketing money is going to freeze. There is no chance that marketers will pump in money for these big events.
Yeah, maybe with a reduction in the number of events, we may see runners racing a little less, but putting in more effort in those races. So they may get more competitive. They may put in a quality effort. Instead of running a race every month or every 2 months, they may train for a 3-month block, run a race, train again for 3 to 4 months, run a race. So it may just help
Yeah, I think so. I think because I think what I see nowadays is that people don't really invest the time into actually training for an event. It's rather than let me see how many races that I can do in a month. And I think with having lesser events, like Ahmed said, people can actually say, okay, let me train for this event. Let me actually try to get a good timing and maybe better the time.
Yeah, yeah. 2 days ago,
Yes.
we were speaking with Coach Dan on it was Tuesday, right? Tuesday, we were speaking with Coach Dan, and one of the questions I asked him is, he trains a lot of people, and you know him. It's like, how many races would you recommend someone do in a year? And he said not more than 2 full marathons, 2 or 3, 3 at the maximum, but definitely, 2 is a sweet spot. So that's something that people can follow. They may just get better quality of their race and out of training, more meaningful, other than running 10 days and 21 days every weekend. But I'm going to get a question in from the chat room. Pranay is here. He says, when are you going to join ultra running again? Maybe 24 hours, 36, or even 48 hours. That's crazy.
Pranaya, what race are you doing next? Let's do it together.
Yeah.
See, you have peer pressure already.
Yeah.
People are missing you in the long distances.
Yeah. Pranay, nice to hear from you, Pranay. We last met him at Vagamon Ultra. It's just crazy. I mean, this guy over the last 2 years has transformed into this machine, fat-burning machine. He's just incredible.
Oh, fabulous. It's a delight to see Pranay run.
Yeah. Let's see. He says, I ran a 50K on the treadmill last Sunday. It built mental toughness for sure. That's crazy. That's crazy. How long did it take? Yeah.
What's the longest that you've ran on a treadmill, Shivani?
The longest I have done on a treadmill would be about 10 to 12K, not more than that. I remember last year I was training for the Canberra Ultra, and I was traveling continuously, and Kochi is not really a runner's friendly city. So it was a crazy week for me. I was in Mumbai. From Mumbai, I had to go to Delhi for a day, come back for like a few hours, sleep, take a flight to Kochi, and then from there again back to Delhi, and from Delhi to Barcelona. So this whole week was like that, and I had to squeeze in some amount of mileage. So the only choice for me to run in Kochi was to run on a treadmill. So I did a 10K one day, and I think I did a 12K or 11K kind of a distance the next day. So I remember doing that for sure. That's the maximum I have run on a treadmill. Not more than that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're running a lot of stairs, so
Yeah.
that's a lot, and I can't imagine. I think a treadmill for 3 hours is a lot. I think running stairs is a lot tougher.
Yeah.
But we have
but you know what? Running on a treadmill makes me feel like I'm in one place. Running on a treadmill makes me feel like I'm only in one place and not moving at all. At least stairs take you from point A to point B. Running on a treadmill is not my cup of tea.
Yeah, but what? So one of the things I do is I put on a podcast that takes the mental space. It takes you somewhere. Another thing is I have a small iPad that I stick behind the treadmill, so I can watch YouTube or I can watch Netflix or something.
I think he's been watching Hindi movies.
I've been watching Hindi movies after 20 years. I think I've started watching Hindi
Amazing.
movies.
The Bahubali has been my favorite watch when I need workout motivation. Like, when I see these guys pumping their muscles, and I'm like, my God, I have to lift one more time. Like, I have to do this one more set. Okay, 2 more push-ups.
Yeah.
Like it has been like a great movie to watch during workouts. Plus, it's so long, so you can just take it into days.
Is it on Netflix?
What?
Is it on Netflix?
Yes, it is on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, I have a long run on Saturday. I have 25K, so I think that's what I'll watch on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. We have a small quick fire round for you, Shibani, before we wrap up for the evening. So Monica has she's planned a couple of fun questions. Let's see.
What's your most memorable race?
The most memorable race I've had is, of course, the first run that I did, which was the Mumbai Marathon, because the kind of emotions that I was going through from the start to the end of the race was something I had experienced for the first time. So it will still remain my most memorable race.
Wow, awesome.
And you've ran so many races outside of not just in India, but outside of India. So that's nice.
Yeah. Would you prefer stadium runs or ultra races?
Ultra races, but not really trail, because I'm terrible on trails. I keep on just falling down all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to turn back, like home with like a broken hand or a broken leg.
Yeah.
What's your favorite post-run breakfast?
My favorite post-run breakfast is beer with so I typically have, like, after a long run, I have a brunch, hit the brunch straight. So either it is paneer burji or it is chicken. So I really like these two things, some beer with paneer burji and chicken.
We're vegan, so we can't do burji or chicken, but we'll definitely do beer. Yeah.
Soya burji.
Yeah, we do soya burji.
Yeah, we make tofu burji. Cool. Journalism or running?
Both, actually. Like, both have their own pluses and both keep me going. Journalism is something that I love to do. I love telling stories, so I just love journalism for that. Plus, no single day is the same when it comes to journalism. Like, every day, sometimes in a day, like, you meet 5 different sets of people who are completely in a different profession altogether. So that is what keeps me going about journalism. And running is both my sanity and my insanity, so I just love running.
Yeah.
What sort of stories do you like to cover?
I like stories with human touch to them, which has some amount of human impact. So these are the kind of stories that I really like to cover. But I work for a business channel, so most of my work that I do is typically covering strategies and consumer insights and brand campaigns. So I don't get to do a lot of it, but I really like to do stories with human touch.
Yeah. And then you've already answered this, but we have the last question was: do you prefer a post-run coffee or a post-run beer?
Post-run beer for sure. Any day.
Yeah.
Any day. I just want to drink my beer and go off to sleep.
Yeah. What sort of beer do you like? Do you like dark beers? Or?
I like dark beers.
Nice.
I like stout a lot.
Oh yeah.
Oatmeal stout is my favorite. So I really like chocolate stouts and those varieties. The best beer I have had in my life is something that I had in Australia recently in Gold Coast. It was something called as the milk stout. Oh my God, I was addicted to it. I would have, so they had like this large, mug of a liter, and I would have one large mug and like a tiny mug every single day that I was in Gold Coast. So I was just addicted to that.
When were you at the Gold?
Last day, in February.
Okay. And did you enjoyed it? I lived there. I studied there for 2 years at the Gold Coast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Oh, I love Gold Coast. I want to live there for life. It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I went to Bond University, so I was there from 2006 to 2008.
One of my friends, he's in the Bond University currently, so I caught up with him. Yeah. And then final day before leaving, again, I grabbed that large, large mug of my milk stout that is there.
Nice.
Somebody has a final question.
There's a question from Gagan Deep. He says, have you ever had vada pav during your long runs?
Of course. I have had vada pav during my long run. I have had idli during my long run. I have had thepla during my long run. I've had dhokla during my long run.
Oh, wow.
So I have had all of this. Chips. during my long run. If nothing is available, then this is, some of the stores would be open and you really get that craving, if you're doing like a 60K kind of a run, you feel like eating something. So I eat whatever is available, not fussy at all.
Shibani, I've seen in the past, I think a year ago, I used to see that you used to do a lot of long runs alone. And these are not 30K runs. These are like 35, 40, 45Ks on a Sunday or a Saturday. Why do you go out that far? I mean, because, normally people would just do a 30 or a 32K for the weekend. But I know that you've gone for multiple 40 to 45Ks by yourself.
So typically it would be before like a race that is coming up, and also because I haven't had the time to pump in that mileage in that week. So then if I have, let's say, 100, 120K ka target for that week, then I would try to squeeze in as much as I can on a day that is, where I am at home. So that is the reason why probably I could have done like a 40, 45K. But Saturdays and Sundays used to be like my 30 or 40, 30 and 40K, or 25 and 40K, or 25 or 45K kind of a distance. I was just telling a story to a friend of mine that from 2018, I think November to September 2019, I haven't gone to a pub on a weekend. So September 1st week 2019 was on a Friday night, was the first time that I went to a pub, and it felt different. It felt like, wow, this is what people do.
Yeah. We've experienced that quite a few times. We haven't. Social life is very different when you're training, because like Saturday and Sunday is a 3 a.m. alarm. We leave here by 4. We drive out to Panvel or somewhere to the mountains and get there before sunrise. Start the run by 6, and by the time we're home, it's easily noon. So you're just done. You just eat lunch, get a beer, and you're done for the day.
Absolutely. And even if you have time on a Sunday, because typically either Monday is your yoga day or a break day, you don't feel like going out on a Sunday evening. You're like, let me just tuck myself into that bed and rest it out. You don't want to be social, or you don't want to be standing and shoved into some corner in a crowded place. You just don't want to do that.
So there's one last question that came in before we wrap up. Richard, I believe he's from Portugal. He wants to know if you have a Strava account. He wants to follow you on Strava.
So no, I don't have a Strava account. I think, probably I do have a Strava account, but I don't keep on updating any of my distances or runs over there. I train with a Sunto 9 and an Apple Watch. So for shorter runs, I use an Apple Watch. For swims, I use an Apple Watch. And for really long runs, because Apple Watch's battery typically lasts for only 4.5 hours, I use, for a longer run, I use like a Sunto 9. But I might have, but might not be very active on Strava. I'm definitely not active on Strava. Sorry.
Gagan is back. He's like, what's the best sunrise scene for all three of us? Yeah, Shibani, what's the best sunrise you've seen on a run, if you remember?
Yes, I do remember. I was doing the Khardungla challenge, and you couldn't see the sun because you're on the other side of the mountain. But the run starts at 3 a.m. and it's really, really hot, really cold. Sorry, it's really cold. So you have your gloves on, and you're climbing so much of a distance. I mean, you're climbing at such an altitude, and it's really freezing. Your pace is slow, and the minute I saw that orange tinge of the sun in the mountains, like, I just felt delighted, because I thought to myself that oh my God, it's going to get only warmer from now on. I'm not going to freeze myself to death. So it felt amazing to see that sunrise. While I could see like the Khardungla top from like a couple of distance, because it's pretty clear from even far away. So I think that was one of the most memorable sunrises I have seen.
What about you, Monica?
I think I'm thinking back. What comes to mind at first is the CMU or Cordillera Mountain Ultra Trail that we did in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And the run I think started at 5 in the morning, 5 or 4 in the morning. So we were running in the dark for some time, and I had fallen twice in that run. And so I was very upset. I was ready to quit on the second fall. And I just kind of kept going. And then as soon as we were climbing up a hill, and that's when the sun was coming out, and then you could just see the mountain range. And I was just like, oh, lights out. It's a new day. Now I can see where I'm stepping, and hopefully I don't fall again. And that's one that I can remember.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen too many. I think every time we're out on a trail, it's a beautiful sunrise and it's a beautiful experience. One outing that comes to mind is we went on a trip 2 years ago with the UTRC crew, so Rahul, Nilendu, and all these guys. We went to Rajmachi in Kerala during, I think it was the monsoon. Was it monsoon? It was just after the monsoon, so there was a dense sort of a cloud canopy above our head, and we were climbing up the mountains. And as soon as we got up, there was a little ray of the sun coming through. It was magical, absolutely stunning. So that's one thing that comes to mind. But like I said, every outing in the trail is beautiful. And if you're lucky to be there at 6 in the morning or 6:30, and you start climbing at that hour, by the time you've made it slightly, maybe a couple of 400, 500 meters up, the sun starts coming out, and it's just magical. So next time,
there is another example that I have of a great sunrise. Was since you mentioned that, I was doing this run in Saputara. It was a full marathon, and it was one of the most beautiful races I have ran in terms of organization, in terms of just so it took you from Maharashtra border to Gujarat, and it was really, really stunning. So the sunrise was happening, and we were going downhill, and it was just only like a couple of us, just 3 to 4 of us together at that point in time, at a social distancing kind of a distance, like a few meters away from each other. And as soon as you started going downhill, the sun was just revealing itself in its full glory. It was beautiful and orange, and that was something that I will always remember. It was a beautiful run and a beautiful sunrise.
Was this the summit challenge?
The Saputara summit, the first one.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
The first.
I've never been. Yeah, I've never been to those. Just heard a lot.
They do a great job in organizing the race. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's hope there's those races come about again. Let's hope we have more trail races and the lockdown ends soon. And I mean, for sure, as soon as we're able to go, Nilendu's here in the chat room. He's like, remember. Yeah, Nilendu, we're all he's part of our little trail family that we have. We all go out, train together. So as soon as it's we're able to, we're gonna go, and we'll text you. We'd love for you to join us. Come to one of our favorite.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Would love to join you on your trail runs.
And we'll make sure we get some beer after the run. So that's an incentive for you.
Yeah, I can't promise burji or chicken, but definitely some dark beer. And some
Monica baked cakes would also be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I put that down and have some, carry some with me.
Yeah. What, didn't we take something last time?
I had made something a while back.
Yeah, don't remember. Yeah. But we'll make some stuff, and we'll all go. Thanks so much, Shivani, for taking the time for this chat. It's nice to see you after a long time. And I think the last time I saw you was when I was running down Malabar Hill from the other side. So running down towards Chowpatty, and I think you were running on.
Before Mumbai Marathon.
At the intersection. No, I think it was somewhere in January after January. I don't remember, but that's the last time I did. Anyway, hope to bump into you again soon. And enjoy your stairs. Keep at it.
Enjoy your treadmill.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shivani.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Sorry. Did you?
Lovely speaking to you.
Yes, nice speaking with you as well. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. From next week, we're gonna have just one show a week every Monday. So we'll update you on what's next. And you guys take care, stay safe, and hope to see everyone on the trails soon. Okay, take care.
Wash your
Night.
hands.
Yeah, wash your hands. Okay, night.
Good
Bye.
night.